It's a pleasure to be here at the National Museum of African American History and Culture on the second day of its opening. We were even here on the first day. We couldn't film because it was Shabbat. There's a line of months and months, so we're really privileged. This is an incredible museum. I just wrote a column about it in the New York Observer, which will appear shortly. The bottom is all about the history, the African American experience in the United States. And as you know, it's mostly tragic. It starts with the advent of slavery, how sugar was more valuable than gold, and then King Cotton, and then the Civil War, and it progresses through to Reconstruction, which was so promising for African Americans in the United States, and then, of course, segregation and Jim Crow, and then big stuff about the Civil Rights Movement. That's all on the bottom. It's quite brilliant that the history is all compacted into these 3 floors. It is very comprehensive, and you'll learn a lot. These galleries, we're waiting to get into the cultural galleries, so it's history and culture. Yesterday we saw amazing artifacts, Muhammad Ali's boxing gloves. Today I'm going to see Michael Jackson's fedora. You know, I remember Michael, I miss Michael. The cleats worn by Jesse Owens when he demonstrated to the world that Adolf Hitler's idea of the Übermensch, or the German Superman, could be destroyed by a black American who could run faster, jump further than any Aryan that he could put up against him. And there's so much about music, and I was thinking to myself as I progressed up from the pit of hell, the American abomination of slavery, to the great cultural achievements of African Americans, that it's an amazing story. Today, as I wrote in my Observer piece, the #1 TV host in America, until recently, was Oprah Winfrey, an African American woman. The most powerful man on earth is Barack Obama, President of the United States. The most famous athlete of the past 20, 30 years was an African American, Muhammad Ali, who just died. And arguably, up there, only maybe with Elvis and the Beatles, the greatest entertainer was Michael Jackson, African American. Great story of triumph and culture, in so much, in politics, in so much of what America is. Yesterday when I arrived here, if you look around, most of the people are African American. I'm white. And I'm sure that will change. When they opened the Holocaust Museum in 1993, I think the Jewish community feared it would be seen as a Jewish museum, and it's a Jewish tragedy, but it wasn't. The Holocaust was a universal, global tragedy, even though it primarily affected the Jewish people. And the African American experience is American history, and it influences people of every ethnicity, every creed. But as I was walking through the galleries yesterday with my wife, a woman pushing a stroller, elderly, a little bit frail, walks over and she says, she wants to talk to me, and made a bit of a commotion, so I stopped, and she said, "Can I ask you a personal question?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Why are you in this museum? You guys kind of stand out." And I don't know if she meant I stood out because I'm white, and many of the first day visitors are African American visitors, or I'm Jewish, I look Jewish, I'm a rabbi. And I said, "I appreciate the question." I said, "I'm here because I'm an American, just the way you are. This is American history." This is one of the great Smithsonians. I love all the Smithsonians. I love the Museum of American History. I love the great art galleries, the national galleries. I love the Museum of the American Indian. I don't know why it's still called that. We'll see if that will change. Who knows? But the Smithsonians are a treasure. And this is almost like the crown jewel in that treasure. It's so well done. It's so well thought through. It's so inspiring. And you'll learn so much. And there are long lines. There are really long lines. But do your best to get tickets. Do your best to get in. God bless you.